Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Jack Dean.
Thanks so much. It was great. So it is. It's great to be here. Thank you very much for turning out. Yeah, thank you. Right. I like you. Yeah. I mean, how many of you are actually from this area, Hammersmith? Oh, yeah, okay. A smattering of you. Yeah. All the ones that could afford it. It's nice. It's great. I like the area. And, I've been on tour for some time now. And everyone always says, well, what's it like on tour? What's it like on the road? And to be honest, it's very, very long journeys in the car, listening to CDs, staying in hotels endlessly, live off room service and mini bars and watching late night movies. I get to see my kids every 2 or 3 weeks, and I speak to my wife most days on the phone. It's perfect. I don't know why I didn't think of it years ago. It's just relationships are so much easier from a distance. Miss you too. Send. Oh, the boiler's packed up. There's no hot water. Hot water in hotel. Fine. But anyway, I was out there on the Broadway, and I got approached by this guy. I don't know if you live around here, you might have seen him yourself. But this guy is just standing there, swinging a plastic bag around his hand, a carrier bag. He's just standing there just on the side of the road. They go, no. I don't know what was in the bag, but And he was too old to be doing this. Let me just say that at the start. When you're 8 or something, you can do that on the way home from school, can't you? This guy's 40 at least. He's standing there. And his trousers right up there all tight. And I knew that this guy was going to talk to me. Because people like that always do, right? As soon as he sees me, he goes, can I have a pound? All right. I said, what? Can I have a pound? So what do you need a pound for? He goes, I can't get home. Right. And I thought, oh, come off it. Who, in this day and age, can get home for a pound? Isn't it a pity? If he had said to me, look, I'm awfully sorry to trouble you. I've lost my wallet. I need to get back to Islington. My wife's going to get me from the station. I have to get the dry cleaning. £35 would cover it very nicely. And I think, well, here's someone I can trust. But a pound? What are you going home in? A shopping trolley? And I never found out what was in the bag either. It's been bothering me ever since. Could have been the severed head of a well-meaning local social worker. Do you ever get that little frisson of pride when someone asks you directions? I do. I don't know why. It's kind of a bit silly, but I do. And I have a story I want to tell you that happened to me a few weeks ago, but I have to warn you, the story involves using a foreign accent, if I can be allowed to do that. And I just wanted to warn you that, because the foreign accent is very important. The story makes no sense without it. I just want you to know that. I don't want you to think that I'm getting cheap laughs off the back of someone who's with a foreign accent, because that's not what I'm about. And I hope you know. No, come on, I'm not a racist. You know that about me. My God, I'm not a racist. I've never owned a bed and breakfast. How can I be? I'm just. And I'm not a taxi driver, so, for me, they're the worst every time. Taxi drivers, I don't know why they think, because they're in charge of the vehicle, they can impose their values on you in that way. We wouldn't put up with it in any other form of transport. You wouldn't sit on an aeroplane, would you, and the pilot comes out on the tannoy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is First Officer speaking. Just currently cruising at 30,000 feet and just crossing the west coast of Africa. Yes, it's like spot the white man down there. You wouldn't put up with it on the train, would you? Yeah, mind the gap and your wallet. This used to be a nice area. Not anymore. So I'm not a racist, you know, and mind you, the term racists, I feel, gets bandied about rather a lot these days, perhaps too often, and I like to see everyone's point of view, you know. I'm having some work done in my house at the moment. I've got a plasterer doing some plastering, as they do. And I was talking to him, and I said, how's work? How's work going? And he says, it's not so good. It's drying up really a bit. No. Get the fuck out of here. I had the good sense to ignore it when he said it. I was hoping you would as well. Anyway, he says, and I said, what's the matter? And he said, it's all the immigrants coming in, your Eastern Europeans, your Estonians, your Poles, and that, you know, right? Now, you know, and that, in certain circles, that turned you on, did it? Well, something for everyone in this show. In some circles, that could be considered as racist. But then I thought, well, hang on, put yourself in his shoes, Jack. Put yourself in his shoes. How would you feel? How would I feel if I turned up tonight at the Hammersmith Apollo and the manager had been at the stage door and say, Jack, sorry, we haven't got anything for you here. We're going to have to let you go because we've got this Polish comedian on, Jak Diski, and... and he's very, very good. He's just so much more miserable than you. We just I'm trying to see it that way, and he doesn't. Anyway, so I'm in Leicester Square 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm in Leicester Square, and there's a Japanese family who are lost. They're looking around. I can see they're lost. The dad's got the map out. He's looking around. And he looks up and he sees me and he approaches me, right? And like I say, little frisson of pride. I feel pleased that he's chosen me, out of everyone in Leicester Square. Yeah, I feel pleased that he has identified me as the friendly face of London. So he comes up and he goes, "Excuse me, can you please tell me?" I think I went to quite a lot of effort to explain there was an accent coming up and that. Yeah. Can you please? He didn't have his hands like that. I'm not shy, That was that. I'm not proud of that. Not proud of that. And I can, obviously, he's there in front. I knew he's Japanese anyway, straight away. You can tell, can't you? He had the. What did he have? He had a flag on his arm. Japanese flag on his arm. I know my flags. I know my flags. He goes, so anyway, he says, can you, not with his hands like that, he didn't have his hands like that, he wasn't doing that, that's a bit of subconscious stereotyping coming through there, I'm not proud of that. This is what happens, he goes, can you please tell me away to Singapore, right? And I had no clue what he said, right? This is difficult for me because I really want to help, I'm proud of being a Londoner, I want him to have a great time and his family, but I simply did not hear or understand what he said, right? Now, bear in mind here, if I'm asking directions, I work on a 3 goes and you're out principle. Yeah? You get 3 goes at this, and that's it, because there's no point in carrying on any... In fact, not so very long ago, I went to a show at the Lyric Theatre up the road from here, and I couldn't find it. I don't know why, I just lost my way, and I asked this guy, I said, excuse me, can you tell me where the Lyric is, the Lyric Theatre? And he goes, what, Lyric? And I thought, oh, God, why? Why every time do I find these... He goes, Lyric Theatre, what road is that in? I thought, it's in King Street. King Street? What? King Street? Does that have another name? Yeah, of course it does. Yeah, all roads have two names, didn't you know that? You know, this is two questions he asked. Because, and he says, what exactly is on the lyric? What is the lyric? What goes on? And that's it. I'm not even going to answer that because you've had 3 goes at it. It's quite obvious you don't know where or even what it is. I am not going to waste any more. You didn't have the integrity to just say, don't ask me. I know nothing at all, right? I'll only waste your time. Please ask someone else and enjoy your evening. Instead, what he tried to do was try to hook me into some kind of conversation by asking me spurious little questions that I didn't want to answer. What he actually tried to do was suck me into the vortex of his loneliness and despair. In fact, you know what, mate? Why don't you fuck off out of my life, officer? Unreal. We don't need this, do we, you know? So I got this Japanese family in front of me, and I said, I'm really sorry, what is it you're looking for? Repeat it for me. Can you please tell me a way to I'm none the wiser. And now the pressure's building. You know what? I've had 2 goes by now, and I'm breaking into a sweat here. I'm sweating like a Cypriot at an ATM. I'm gonna. How much do you require? All of it, you fucker. And his wife is there, and the whole thing, she's there. She wasn't bowing. Oh, well, bloody hell, no. She was not bowing. Oh, God, when I start this story. No. That's right, she was kneeling at my feet making tea. That's what was happening. All routine going on there. And so I said, just one more time, can you repeat it? And he says it again. His little boy is looking up at me all expectantly. And, so this is a big build-up. Can you say it? When I say little, he was no more little than any other boy of any ethnic group, actually. He was just globally average, absolutely. I don't even know why I mentioned the height thing. He says it a 3rd time, and I didn't get it. I'm none the wiser. As far as I'm concerned, I'm out. And I don't know if this is the right thing or the wrong thing. I just thought the best thing to do in this situation is to say, oh, sorry, yeah. No, you want to turn left and go on for 4 miles, And I've been feeling pretty bad about that. It's one of the worst things I'd done since I told a French tourist that taxi drivers expect to haggle. That was not... So I've been traveling around all year, and it's the first tour I've done for 6 years. So one of the joys of that is you see how much places change when you go around. You got to Manchester, they've done amazing things, it's changed. You go to, or Liverpool's fantastic, the changes there, and parts, big parts of London, the city of London, it's all, and Hammersmith. It's not. But anyway, I was in Belfast, and I haven't been there for a few years. Since I was last in Belfast, they have opened a new place called the Titanic Centre. And I'm sure as you'll remember, the Titanic was built in Belfast, and it was such a massive success that they've decided to roll the brand out, and there'll be merchandise coming out pretty soon, I should imagine. The Titanic sank over 100 years ago, and we, as a species, don't seem to have been able to accept this fact. We haven't absorbed it, have we? It's just time to move on and get on with it. There's a guy in Australia called Clive Palmer, a billionaire, who is building an exact replica of the Titanic. He's calling it Titanic 2. It'll be exactly the same, and it is going to follow the exact route of the maiden voyage, as if there were other ones, of the Titanic. And people have bought tickets for this. And the idea is that they're going to get dressed up in Edwardian fashion, top hats and everything, and have a good old time on the boat. I can't have been the only person who found out about this and thought, well, I hope that hits a fucking iceberg as well. Oh, boat sinking. God, who knew? Can we not just get over the bloody Titanic? Yeah, very sad, but it's happened. Let's go, let's move on. I mean, 10 years ago, the 90th anniversary of the Titanic, they had a big exhibition at the Science Museum here in London. Some of you may have gone to it. I went along, I took the kids, took the kids to that. And because, it was the first day of the holidays, you've got 2 months of the kids ahead of you. What are we going to do? I'm going to the Titanic exhibition. Next day, what are we going to do today? Oh, shut up. That's just me. So we took them along, and you get given a ticket on the way in. You go in, and they've got all kinds of artifacts that they've found at the bottom of the sea, gone to a lot of trouble to find this stuff where the Titanic was laid to rest eventually, and they brought all this stuff up and put it in the exhibition. I mean, first room is just full of, it's a great big glass container cabinet place with a load of plates in it, lots and lots of plates in it, yeah. And people are going past looking at these plates. It's quite hard to ignore the fact that people are going past going, after all that trouble, but anyway, so, I presume they were genuine plates. I've no way of telling. Who can, frankly, they could have got any old plates and just shitted them up a bit. I'll be honest with you, I've eaten in Nando's off very similar looking plates. And you go into the next room, and actually there were more plates in the next room, more plates. I think it's part of the problem with the Titanic. They overdid the plates. How many plates are we going to need for this ship? Oh, no, 150,000 tons of plates. Get them all on with. Otherwise, we'll have to wash up before we get to America. We don't want that. So, that's probably why it sank. It was just too heavy, and there's been a big cover-up. When you think about it, no one's seen the iceberg since, so it could be a lot of something there. But anyway, the point with this is, on the way in, you got given a ticket, right, which is an exact replica of the original Blue Line Titanic ticket with a name on it. And then on the way out, what you have to do is check the name on your ticket against the names on the wall to see whether you survived or not. Isn't that a fun day out? And of course it's rigged, all the kids survived. Yeah, we survived the Titanic. They got a badge. We survived the Titanic. Oh, Muggins here got shot by the bosun for cowardice. I took the life jacket of a 10-year-old or something. I wanted to take this opportunity to just say that I now have an app that you can download, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, so please, when you get home, you can look this up. And what it is, when you get it on your smartphone, on your iPhone, when you've got it, whenever anyone tweets or texts you, it automatically replies, "So what?" And it's been a big success so far. People are finding their productivity goes through the roof. After 2 weeks, more or less guaranteed, no one will be in touch with you anymore. And you get your life back. In fact, you know what? I am actually trying to bring back the expression "so what" into my everyday usage. I find myself in too many conversations I just don't want to be in. And people have lost the art of conversation. They think they can get a conversation out of you with nothing. They'll say something, oh, when's your birthday? September. No way, my brother's birthday is September. What am I going to do about that? Where'd you go on holiday? Devon. No way, I went there when I was a kid on holiday. So what? It's a popular holiday destination. You've been there, I've been there. We have nothing in common. I'm trying to build it into something. I remember a few years ago, I was hanging around a school playground, and oh, come on, what are you, sick or something? How sad that I should have to qualify that remark in this day. Yes, I have worked for the BBC, but I left the building straight away. Unreal. What are you talking about? Oh, God, isn't it sad times, aren't they, for showbiz, you know? On the plus side, it's at least 30 years before I get arrested, so... So anyway, I was in this playground waiting for my kids to pick up my kids from school, and this dad comes out, out of the blue, out of nowhere, and he says, "Yeah, my son is getting very good at table tennis." And I should have just said, "So what?" and walked away and saved myself a lot of trouble. But instead, I showed a little flicker of interest. He's going to a table tennis competition up in Huddersfield. This is the great thing about watching television. You have a remote control, which is effectively, it's like saying, "So what?" to whatever you're watching, isn't it? So, Johnny and Jemima are converting this 18th century barn into a 3-bedroom home. So what? I don't give a shit. So what? I don't care where they live. I don't even know them. Look at them, the stupid tossers. Look at them. Look at her. She's cross-eyed, isn't she? He's wearing stupid shirts and she's cross-eyed. I don't care. I don't care if they live in a shoe, frankly. For main course, Peter is cooking sea breams. Oh, what? Hope he chokes on it. I don't care what he cooks. I'm not going to eat it, am I? Oh, but I love singing and I love X Factor and my nan's in hospital. So what? Oh, please. I'm always impressed when you see like dignitaries and they're meeting people they've never met all day and they always find something to say to them. I think that's a pretty clever thing to be able to do. I mean, the Queen, whatever you think of the Queen, meeting these people all day long that she'd never met before, and they just go, and this is Mavis, and she's worked in this post office for 29 years. I bet she's got "so what" on the tip of her tongue the whole way through. I bet she's thinking, I've met Nelson Mandela, I don't give a fuck anymore. But the popularity was just incredible. I mean, I was in Kettering on this tour, right at the beginning of the tour, and I always get a local paper wherever I go. I got a local paper, and my eye was caught by this story. It says, "Queen visits Kettering on royal tour." And I thought, I'm a little surprised, because Kettering wouldn't, with all due respect, you wouldn't, put that at the top of your list of places to visit, ever. I mean, And then I read the rest of the story, and it turns out that the Queen had actually gone through Kettering on her way to Leicester. She'd gone through Kettering by train on her way to Leicester, and there'd been a mix-up because the mayor had arranged for all the children in Kettering to be at the platform and station and wave flags when she arrived, but the royal party were not aware of this, and so didn't stop, basically. So it was sad, because all the kids were there going, "Okay, here she comes, she's coming right now. Hey, everyone get your flags out, here she comes." Where's my flag gone? Was that the Queen? If you had had a really fast action camera, I imagine you would have just got a photograph of the Queen going, just passing through Kettering, Mom. Say what? So remember that. So, I think it's a useful thing, a little useful social skill to be able to say, "So what" to people. Because, save a lot of time if you get caught by a pub bore or something, Elvis is still alive. So what? I don't care. Good for him. I don't know. This is a thing. I had to do a documentary thing I was doing some research for radio, and I was about conspiracy theorists, and it actually never did get broadcast. Why would that be, one wonders? But, and I had to meet these guys, and these particular group, their thing, what they believed, right, was that the plane that hit 9/11 was actually a military missile set off by the US government to destroy the Pentagon, and it wasn't a plane at all, right? That's what they fervently believed. So I said to them, well, how do you account for the fact that the American Association of Civil Engineers, after their extensive inquiry, came to the overwhelming conclusion that the impact profile was entirely consistent with that of a 124-foot wingspan aircraft hitting the building at just such an angle whereby the lower wing would have hit the ground first, thereby coming off before impact, and the upper wing would be in the air, not touching it at all, giving the impression possibly of a wingless fuselage hitting the building, although they did find in the debris, they found remnants of an aircraft. How do you square that with what you believe, right? Now, instead of saying, as any sane person would say, instead of saying, oh, shit, I've wasted my life. Instead of saying that, you know what this guy said? He said, oh, okay, I think I see what's happened here. You're in it too, aren't you? That's it. We're through, we can't talk. I mean, you know, really paranoid. And then he goes, oh, I'd explain this then, explain this, Jack. Osama bin Laden was assassinated the very same week that Pope John Paul II was beatified. Coincidence? Well, yes. Yes. That is precisely what a coincidence is. That is more or less what the word coincidence was invented for. Before they had the word coincidence, when things like that happen, they had to say, fucking hell. I want to know what a coincidence is. You being a conspiracy theorist and a 30-year-old virgin. That, I would say, those two things come together. People are prepared to believe anything, aren't they? I mean, you know, I went on a little weekend to Paris with Jane, my wife, and I like the Doors, and the band, obviously, not Doors. I mean, I could go anywhere to see those. Good night, really. And I went to the cemetery where Jim Morrison is laid to rest, and someone's written on it, "Jim lives." And I thought, well, there really is no telling some people, is there? And even I was caught up in all of that. You know, as a kid, I mean, I was 14 years old, and I was really into Judas Priest, the band. And you remember this one where they were accused of recruiting devil worshippers? And that if you listen to the end of one of the tracks, if you listen to it backwards, you can clearly hear the words, worship the devil. I was only 14 at the time, so I must have been listening to the wrong track, because the one I listened to just said, stay in your room and wank a lot. Mostly I wanted to talk this evening about a very difficult time in my life. I had it was a few weeks ago, it was a particular week that was very difficult for me. And you know when events conspire to make you not the happy-go-lucky guy that you normally are? This particular week, I start on the Monday. I was at home on Monday, and I went out to my garage. I have a garage next to my house, and I hope I can say that here in Hammersmith without being accused of bragging, you know, just... And it's a regular garage, don't get me wrong, it's not like I have my own special showbiz exact replica of an Esso garage or something, with Starburst on special offer and a fully working petrol pump and flowers for sale outside, a demoralized Asian behind the till. It's not that. It's a regular garage. Went out to my garage, and I turned the light on, and the bulb blew, like that, which is incredible to me, because that made me think, God, you know, I must have turned that light off just in time last time. I must have turned that light off with like a 40th of a second left. It's like having a superpower, that is, you know, when you think about it. Anyway, so I thought, okay, I know what needs doing now. I'm going to get up on a step ladder, I change the bulb. I change the bulb, come back down again. Nothing. Well, I don't know about you, but that's as far as I go, you know. With electricity, I don't dabble. Oh, they better get a screwdriver and stick it in, see what happens. I called an electrician, as anyone would. I called an electrician. He comes to the house late in the afternoon, comes to the house. And I walk him round to the garage. right? And bear in mind, I have explained to him exactly the sequence of events that led to me calling him out. Right? We go into the garage, and what's the first thing he does? He tries the switch. Well, you know what? I actually don't have time this evening to describe to you how offensive I found that. What kind of congenital cretin does this man think I am? I don't know how my house works. Or maybe he thought, you know, I went out to my garage, I was about to turn on the light, and then I thought, no, I know what would be an awful lot more fun. And you get a professional electrician round to turn the light on for me. So he says, I'll change the bulb for you. I have already done that and explained to you I have done that, but you go ahead. You're obviously not listening to a word I say, are you? Gets up, changes the bulb, back down again. Nothing. He goes, oh, that's funny. I said, yeah, I will be the judge of that, my friend. He says, gonna need new switch. Right, okay, so we're getting somewhere now, Right, he says, I haven't got one on the van. And I said, I know. Don't ask me how, but I know. I did. I just saw him pulling up in that van. I thought, that guy, he doesn't have a switch on his van. He barely has enough room on that van for all the Jaffa cakes he needs. To get him through the day. He's not going to want to take up valuable space with the thing he might need on a regular basis. Anyway, I let it go. He says, I'll go off down to home base and get you one. Yeah, why don't you do that? Off he goes. He comes back 40 minutes later or something. And he says, I've got a switch for you. It's going to take me about half an hour to fit it, right? Now, this is the thing. I knew from the way he said it that he was hinting at a cup of tea or coffee. It's a little thing, a little intonation. I just picked up on it. It was the way he said it. You know, I'm a man of the world. I can see what's going on. I can read these people, you know. It was the way he said it. He says, it's going to take me about half an hour. Is that thirsty? Please help. So, you know me, I'm a nice guy. So I go, oh, would you like a cup of tea or coffee while you do that? He said, oh, I'd love one. Oh. Well, which do you want, tea or coffee? Oh, well, whatever's easiest. See, there he goes again, you know. Do I look like someone who is going to be confused by either of those recipes? I'm going to go running back to the kitchen and burst into tears. He's asked for coffee. The complicated one, I have no idea. I was just showing off. I felt really offended. You know, I'd offered him tea or coffee out of the goodness of my heart. There was no suggestion of anything else. This was just me, a humanitarian gesture. There was no mention of it when I rang up. It was just £25 an hour plus VAT. I didn't say, oh, and all hot beverages you can drink while you're in my house. There was none of that. You know, it's just a simple question. You know, do you want to? How do you take it? Oh, as it comes. Oh, that's all right, because I have mustard in mind, don't I? Please, for the love of God. And I'm beginning to regret calling this guy out, you know. And it's not like you don't have competition here in London. I'm sure, as many of you will know, have the same thing happen. You get a lot of business cards and flyers come through your letterbox the whole time, don't they? And I had one the other day. Which I kept. It said, local handyman, no job too small. And to me, that's like a challenge. So I rang him up and said, I got your flyer. I was wondering if you could please come over because I've got a pencil needs sharpening. Yeah, it's me again, pencil guy. Yeah. I was wondering if you could come over, please. Can you come? Because I've got some fluff stuck on the bottom of the Hoover, and I can't budge. I've tried, but I'm out of my depth. Can you please? Yeah. It's me again. Toilet roll needs fixing. New toilet roll, please. Can you come over, please? All you need to do is get a new one from under the sink there and put it on the dispenser for me. Can you, please? Can you do that for me? Why can't I do it? Because I've got my trousers around my ankles. What do you think? And a shitty ass. No, don't fancy it? Well, you know what? I've still got your flyer in my hand, so I'll just use that instead. No, don't say it if you don't mean it. Don't play with me. Anyway, the electrician, he comes to the door after half an hour. He says, that's all working now. That's all working now. And he said, do you want to keep the old switch? And I know you're meant to say, oh, no, but I don't know why. I said, yeah, what do you think I'm crazy? You want to throw that away? I need that switch. That's the whole point of you coming over. I'm going to put it on my wall in the hall here. That'll confuse people when they come over, won't it? If I have burglars, that'll freak them out. They go, what's this do? Let's get out of here. I might put it on my mantelpiece. That's what I'll do with that switch. I'll put the switch on my mantelpiece. That'll be a conversation starter, that will. You know, when people come over, we'll be having cocktails, and someone will say, Jack, what is this? And I said, well, I was wondering when you were going to ask. Because that, my good friend, is the switch that used to be in my garage. Can you imagine the conversation that will flow from that point? Because we've had electricity in our lives, all our lives, and none of us really understand it. We take it for granted. We don't know how it works, but we use it all the time. Don't even think about it. I think it's time we had a protocol attached to electricity. It's about time we started to learn how to behave around it. You know, you ever had this experience when someone comes over to your house and you leave them alone for 5 minutes, you come back in the room, and they plug their mobile phone in? What's that? Oh, it's my mobile phone, Jack. A bit flat. I thought I'd give it a bit of a charge while I'm here. Hope that's okay. That's fine. Why don't you go home, get your tumble dryer? What the... You know what, my car's outside. Why don't you siphon off the petrol? Unreal. We don't need this, you know. Anyway, I digress. I went out to the garage. Let's get back to this point. I went back to the garage. Now, why did I go to the garage? You're thinking. Well, I was having a clear out. I do this on a very regular basis. I'm not a hoarder. It's something I don't mind you knowing about me. I go to the tip on a regular basis, municipal tip, and I enjoy my trips to the tip. Although I have to say, I recently noticed an attitude problem with the people who work at the tip. Because the way I look at it is they are in the business of rubbish, and I am bringing them rubbish, but I'm not hearing the thank yous. Is that too much to ask? And plus they kind of slide, you know what I mean? Because they're always watching to see what you get out of the car in case there's something they want to have, you know, and lean against their shed. That's... you know, you're getting a whole lot of stuff out, like an old bike or something, you know, and you put it up against the skip. And instead of coming over and say, can we have the bike? To which I say, absolutely, that's what it's all about, isn't it? We're all sort of recycling. Instead of that, there's a bike, skip for, bike, skip for. Get it when they're gone, don't make eye contact, bike, skip for. Don't look at them, bike, skip. You know what I like to do? I like to get all of my rubbish out of the back of the car and then put the bike back in. Yeah, I'm taking it to another tip. Anyway, I'm getting rid of stuff. And as I say, I'm not a hoarder, don't like to keep stuff. You just get rid of it. You get a whole pile of newspapers, don't hang on to it. Just get rid of it, get it out of your life. It's a great thing. It's a great feeling, very liberating. A whole lot of paint pots, you're never going to do that touch-up job. You thought, no, just get rid of it. Gone. Next door's wind chimes, gone. A midnight hop over the fence worth every minute, I can tell you that. What happens to people? Is there a point in your life where you find yourself at a garden center and you see these things and you're attracted somehow? Oh, look at this. This is nice. Have you seen this? Come on, look at this. It's a wind chime. Look at it. It's made of bamboo and metal and it jingles and jangles in your tree all night. I'd be really relaxing, that would. I'd really like that. I think my neighbor would as well. You know what? You might as well hang a slamming door in your tree. Or hire a toddler to play the violin all night. But anyway, now it's gone. It's out of my life. It's a fantastic thing. And May, best time to have a clear out because it's perfect time to get rid of the last of the Christmas presents. You've left it a polite 5 months. Now you can legitimately get rid of it. And that's what I was doing. Jane, last Christmas, gave me a foot spa. I opened it up, and it was just a foot spa there. And she says, I just thought you might like it. Did you? This is a bucket that you fill with water, stand in, and plug into the mains. You think I'm falling for that one again? No. I didn't like it when you threw the toaster in the bath with me, and I won't like this. So it's gone. It's out of my life. What joy. Out of my life. Like the Kindle. It's gone. Gone. Well, I've read it, so, no. And plus, I have to say, I'm old-fashioned. For me, it's about books. Nothing for me can replace the joy of a real book. I love that. And you get to the end of it, tear out the last 5 pages, take it to a charity shop. That's all about it. Oh, thank you. You're very welcome. I hope someone likes it as much as I did. Obviously, I leave my phone number at the back of it. If you want to find out what happens at the end of this story, give me a call. We'll negotiate. So I have 4 kids now, and 4 children, and they're all teenagers now, all teenagers, aged between 15 and 20. It's a great age group, and I heard that this generation of teenagers are going to be the first in living memory to be poorer than their parents, and I don't know about you, I find that hugely comforting. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm woken up by a bunch of teenagers out in the street singing Poker Face at the top of their voice, and I'm lying in bed thinking, yeah, but I have a house. My kids are aged between like 15. I have 2 boys who are twins, age 15, and my daughters are like 18 and 20. So I've had a lot of experience over the last few years dealing with this age group, and my experience tells me that adolescence basically is actually a form of mental illness. That's all it is. The only way of explaining it. It's a form of mental illness. There's no telling exactly when it's going to strike. You just know it will sooner or later. And your child could go up to bed one night as a child and come down the next day, they just turn into this. One symptom to look out for is they like to be horizontal as much of the time as possible. They'll be horizontal in bed all night long, and then they'll slide down the stairs and lie horizontally in front of the TV until someone comes in and turns it on for them. I actually became so concerned about the inertia of them. So I bought a Nintendo Wii. I thought, well, at least you're going to watch TV all day. You might as well be getting, active, doing something, And it worked for about 10 minutes. They come back in the room. They're just lying flat on their backs playing tennis like this. And now they've got the headset, and they're playing online Grand Theft Auto, this game, you've seen it, and you hear him in the front room, he's going, drive faster, run that bastard over, get him off his bike, reverse over his legs, get his wallet, go drive, run that nun over, go, it just goes on, And Jane said, who's he in there with? I said, he's not in there with anyone, he's playing online, that's what they do now. And she said, oh, that's creepy, that is weird, I have to put a stop to that. I said, whoa, think about it, right? He's playing with his friends, but we don't have to have the bastards in the house, right? This is a win-win situation. No telling when it's going to strike, and I know that with one of my sons, I can tell almost specifically the day. It was last November, when I knew I'd lost him as a child and the adolescent had emerged. It was November. I said, "You want to go to a bonfire party?" And if I'd said that to him the year before, he would have said, "Yeah, let's go bonfire party. Yeah, let's get a hot dog on the way." This year, he goes, "No." I said, why not? He said, fireworks are gay. What are you talking about? I was really shocked by that. And I wasn't going to let him get away with that either. I had to sort of say something about that, pick him up on that. But, I said, come on, don't use that word in that way. You know what? Gay is an incredibly important word, because gay people put up with prejudice and bigotry and ignorance and stereotyping all through their lives. It doesn't make it any easier. Someone like you, who should know better, commandeers the word and turns it into an insult. So please, don't let me hear you use that word like that here again. How do you think your godfather, Clarence, would feel if he heard you talking like that? Huh? He said, why? Is Clarence gay? I said, what, with a name like that? Come off it. So you got to teach them, And they're hungry all the time. It's another symptom to look out for. Constantly hungry. They have to eat the whole time. I'm hungry. When's lunch? Is in 20 minutes. Can I have a sandwich to keep me going? I can't. Your average adolescent requires, 18, 19 bowls of Cocoa Pops a day just to keep them going. Just to keep them going between meals. And that's a little routine you see every morning. Come downstairs, fill the bowl of Cocoa Pops right up to the brim every single morning, right to the brim. Then in goes the milk. Everywhere. Every single bloody morning. I'm just waiting for that adolescent eureka moment to occur. And it works it out. And they eat differently as well. They don't eat the same, because they have to eat the whole time. They're just growing and growing and growing. I have to buy them new shoes every 3 weeks or something. I got my son, he's 50, he's taller than me now. Not actually older, that would be weird. He would have turned into my dad, and I can't even cope with thinking about that. He's taller than me, and right up there. He never understood why on one occasion I bought him the most expensive pair of trainers in the shop. He just didn't get it. I knew in 3 weeks' time they'd be mine. So, oh, thanks, Dad. They're great. Yeah, enjoy, sucker. Yeah, and they eat differently. This is something that happens. You notice that they don't really want to sit at the table anymore. They just open the fridge and eat whatever they can reach. I'm going out in a minute. They love it. They've got a little shelf there. They can put their phone, keep texting. I'm pretty sure they think when they close the fridge door, someone at the back opens another door and just restocks it for them. So this is what happened on the Tuesday after this, the Monday with the trauma of the electrician coming over, as I was talking about. On Tuesday, I opened the fridge and a beer was missing from the fridge. And I knew one of the boys had a beer, basically. This is what had happened. And it wouldn't have been the girls because they weren't at home and they wouldn't have done that anyway. And maybe, you know, I shouldn't have been surprised that at age 15, obviously you are going to try things, aren't you? You're going to try some beer. What surprised me is that they thought I wouldn't notice. Now, how little they understand of what it is to be an adult. You don't do that to an adult. Those beers, they're my friends. That's not theft, that's kidnap. I say goodbye to those beers when I leave the house in the morning. I say, see you later on, see ya. See you, Jack, we'll be here for you when you get back, eh? Remember if things get tough, remember our motto. You don't do that. You know, I've got to sort it out because, you know, otherwise the next thing you know, they'll be taking a swig out of the old vodka bottle and that, you know, filling it up from the tap, putting it back in. You know, I can't have them doing that because that's what I do. Now, I'm going to get my own bat. I'll go up to their room, take some of their meth. You know what? I should have seen it coming, though. I should have seen it coming because last September, I went to a family wedding in Cornwall, and I noticed, they hit 14 years old then, I saw my son with a pint of beer in his hand. Now, call me old-fashioned. That for me, that's too young to be carrying on like that. So I had to go and have a word with him. Obviously, a lot of people around, so it was a bit embarrassing. I had to go out and have a quiet word with him. I said, "What are you doing? What are you doing? A beer? You're meant to be driving us back." Three max, okay? I'm watching you. Like I say, wouldn't have been the girls, because the girls are more class than that. You know, I found my experience with the girls is that they've never asked me for money. The girls never once asked me for money, not directly anyway. They have more style than that. You know, much more style. Oh God, yeah. They'll say something like, "I'm off out now, Dad. I'll be back about 2 a.m. See ya. Okay, have a nice time. Bye." But oh, hang on a second. How are you getting back? Oh. I'll walk through the woods. Have my wallet here. Have some money. Here's my credit card, the PIN number. Please don't go out. But it is sad, isn't it sad? You know, you just can't let your kids go out now. You can't just let them out the door. And gone are the golden days, the innocent days of childhood. You see a child go out the door. Bye-bye, Dad. I'm going to a recording at Top of the Pops with Jimmy Savile. Bye-bye, Daddy. Goodbye, my dear. Have a lovely time. I should be at home watching It's a Knockout. Aren't we lucky to live in the 70s? She wouldn't have done that. Girls wouldn't do that, you know. Girls, I tell you what, girls borrow. That's what they do. Girls borrow. That's their big thing. They like to borrow. Can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? Borrow off each other, borrow off you, borrow off everyone. And no concept of ever giving it back, ever. No, I remember with one of my girls, she went off to her first festival a couple of years ago, yeah? Went to Reading Festival she went to, and she said, "Dad, I'm going to the festival. Can I borrow the family tent, please?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. You're going to a festival. You need a tent. Off you go." Yeah, she takes the tent. I said, "Take the backpack as well, and you're sorted, aren't you? All sorted." Off she goes. I pick her up from the station 4 days later. It's all covered in mud, you know. She had a good time. There's no tent. No tent. Complete absence of tent, I would say. Number of tents about her person, 0. So I said to her, "Where's the fucking tent?" Obviously, I didn't say exactly that. You know. I said, "Where's the fucking family tent?" And then I got, you know, then you hear these words and you know you're out. You don't count anymore in this one. I said, she said, "Well, what you don't get right, what you don't get." When you've heard those words, you're out of the business. You can't do. What you don't get right is on the last day, everyone was running around setting fire to the tents. Of course they were. How silly of me not to think about. You've enjoyed the festival, and why not round things off with arson? Any news on the backpack? No, I left it there. There's no point bringing it back. There's nothing to put in it. Yeah. Once again, your logic has defeated me. Incredible, incredible. I took my eldest daughter for her first driving lesson. And I was quite proud of that moment. I was felt like a rite of passage when I was doing that. You know, I thought, I've reached an age where I shall impart my knowledge of the highway onto my firstborn. Without actually thinking about what I was really, really doing, which is getting into a car, my car for that matter, to be driven on the road, on a real road, by someone who is, as I've already said, mentally ill. I've never been more terrified in my life. I'm not telling you that. Many of you may have been in this situation. If you haven't, my advice is do the first half hour in a quiet back street if you can find one. We went to Tesco car park and did the first sort of half an hour of kangaroo starts and wrong gear and reversing instead of going forward and scratching one or two cars and then she had a go. We're going down the road. We're going down the road, and I said, okay, we're approaching a junction now. I said, now would be a good time to start slowing down and see all the cars going across. So actually, we're quite close to the junction. Don't worry about slowing down. Just stop the car. I don't want to die. And no, don't get upset. I did not raise my voice. I did not. You're doing well. You're doing fine. Doesn't matter about that. Listen, let's look on the plus side. At least you know how the airbags work. Of course it was his fault. He should never have jumped out like that. That's the police for you. They think they own the place. Don't worry. Just drive on. He'll come round. But one of the big themes, I think, about being a parent, and as life goes on, you're an influence on those kids, and without any doubt. And something I take quite seriously. I tell you a story. When I was up in Yorkshire. Not so long ago, and I got a local paper. I always get the local paper where I go. I was reading a story there, and it just caught my eye. What this story, this guy was in court. He was being prosecuted for having sex with a donkey. I'll be honest with you, everywhere else I said that gets a huge laugh, so I don't know what's... Overstep the mark, you let me know, will you? That's a little weird moment that was. I had sex with a donkey. There was like a collective, so what? Yeah, you're in Hammersmith now, Jack. You don't know what goes on. Anyway, he had sex with a donkey, and he was being prosecuted for this. Now, I'm not even going to go into that. I don't want, that to me is that's bizarre enough in its own right. You can't even say it without implying that another species would be in some way better. Sex with a donkey, well, a racehorse, yeah, bring it on, but a donkey, no. Guys, and it made me wonder. You think like donkey sanctuaries and Blackpool and places like that where they have donkeys going up and down the beach. Do they have a problem with sex tourists checking them out and hanging around? Oh, that little grey one. Oh, fucking no. Oh, God, that's a saddle halfway up his back. He's begging for it now. I've got a carrot for him. I have. Oh, fucking. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. So I don't want to talk about that aspect of it, but the thing that got me, as I read the story, is that this guy, he was a father of 3. And I thought, oh my God, what happens? I mean, how do you tell your family that you've done this thing? What the hell the people who look up to you and regard you as really special, and what goes on in these households when this kind of thing? Okay, everyone, do you want to just come in the kitchen for a minute? I need to have a quick word with you. Yeah, put that down for a second. I need to have a word. This is awkward. Look, your dad's done a silly thing. No. That doesn't cover it. I'm sorry. I've done silly things. You know, I forgot where I parked the car. I lost the passport on holiday. That's silly. You will never have respect in your household ever again once you've done a thing like that. Why? It doesn't matter how long you leave it. It's well, I see the credit card's overdrawn again. Yeah, but I didn't fuck a donkey, did I? So... what time do you call this, young man? Well, I call it midnight, but you know what? I wasn't out fucking donkeys, so... on balance... What a terrible thing to discover that stage in your life. What a terrible... And it's a difficult time, you know, it is, isn't it? We all relate to that. I remember what it was like. We all do. We all remember what it was like. Even I have to say, according to my parents, I went through a period in my life when I was really quite morose. But the important thing is, you know, you come through it. Difficult time. I remember my childhood was difficult. I mean, much of it I was locked in a very bitter custody battle, and my parents rowing. One of my big memories of age 4, top of the stairs, hearing my parents rowing, my head in my hands, and you know, social services got involved in the end. Said, "Mr. and Mrs. D, you have to keep him," and that's that. And you know. But as a teenager, particularly difficult time. I really screwed up. I screwed up all my A-levels. I didn't get into university, and well, I say screwed up. It's not quite being harsh on myself there. Technically, they came back ungraded. so basically, we'll never know. I wrote to the examining board and said, well, if you can't be bothered to grade them, then I can't be bothered to go to university. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? But the important thing to remember is everyone goes through a difficult time at this time in their life. So don't be freaked out when it happens. It's and no one escapes it either. I like to read biographies, and I always notice that they never really dwell on that time in someone's life. It doesn't matter who it is. Here's an example, right? Look at Jesus, right? Well, we know about him in the Bible as a baby. We know all about that, don't we know about that? And we know about Jesus as an adult in the Bible. But there's a whole bit missing in the middle, isn't there? A whole bit missing. There's no book of acne, is there? And I think there's a reason for this. I think that they left him alone, get on with it, and he's probably a regular teenager, probably very popular. Think about it, Jesus, very popular. Get asked to all the parties. Have a party, have Jesus over. All we need is a couple of bottles of water, and you're away. This is what he does with dried herbs. It's incredible. Thanks, Jesus. We had him to our party. He did all the catering. One pizza, everyone got a bit. I can't believe it. It's like garlic bread coming out of his sleeves. Incredible. He's a great guy. He's a good guy. You have to have him at the party, right? But at home with Joseph and Mary, I should imagine it was just a very regular, different, typical kind of teenage relationship with them. He would have, I'm off out now. Oh, you're going to see your friend Judas, are you? Why do you hate all my mates? Well, Judas lives on the other side of the lake. How are you going to get back at 2 a.m? I'll walk. Don't you get cocky with me, sunshine. Yeah, well, you're not my real dad anyway. Right, close the door on the way out. You're born in a... Oh, I suppose you are. Yeah. Religion is difficult. It's a difficult thing, isn't it? The religion, I find it's a difficult thing. I've a difficult thing to talk about. I've tried to be religious. It's incredibly difficult. I struggle with it, you know. I struggle with religion because to be religious, you have to believe a whole load of incredibly unlikely shit. And that's where I fall down every time. What are you talking about? What do you mean the sea split in two and they walk through? That can't happen. What do you mean his walking stick turned into a snake? You're crazy, you are. You're a fucking nut. And they don't like it when you say that in church, so I just don't go anymore. It's hard. I believe, and I envy people who have the faith, that thing. I can't do that. I can't go be religious. And I envy people who don't have it. I envy people who are atheists and are perfectly certain of that. I think that's have you ever been to a humanist service? My God, that's something else, isn't it? Why have a priest when you can have a guy in a corduroy jacket and half his lunch in his beard say a few words? Of course, when we die, that is the finite end of human life. There's no such thing as a soul or afterlife. When we die, we are dead, and that is that. Oh, thank you. You've been a great comfort. Anyway, Wednesday, I get an email from a friend, and it was not really a friend. I don't like him, but he's, And he sends me an email, right? It starts with, hi, H followed by 19 I's or something. Hi. I should have deleted it, but I opened it. He goes, guess what? I'm raising money for charity, and I'm riding my bicycle down through France and Italy. I need to raise £2,000 for the basic equipment. Can you help with a donation? And so I replied straight away, naturally, and said, well, that's a coincidence, because I'm looking to raise money as well. I want to take my family to Orlando. And he got a bit pissed off with me about it. He was offended, and he rang up and said, you don't get it, do you, Jack? You just don't get it. It's a really good cause I'm raising money for. I said, well, let me stop you there, because you said it was a charity. I assumed it would be a good cause, basically. I think that's taken as given. Basically, people don't generally raise money for bad causes, do they? You don't see people out in the high street on a Saturday morning rattling a tin. Oh, please, save the wasp. Can you please give Nick Clegg, he's having a hard time. Please help. I mean, you will get the odd mediocre cause where you're not sure you can decide either way, and you think, oh, if we don't raise £12,000, this old windmill will have to close down, and it's an educational asset, it's a heritage site. You think, oh, fuck. Okay, I could give you a couple of quid and everyone else will, but, and you probably keep it open, but frankly, all that'll mean is that you and your rather unsettling friends will carry on dressing up as medieval millers every weekend. And I'm not sure I want any part of that, Now, I'm being hypocritical now, because I'm involved in fundraising. Comic relief I've done, as I may or may not know. I went up the Zambezi earlier this year, and it was. Thank you. I raised £1 million, which bought. We were able to buy mosquito nets and medication and tents and all the other equipment I asked for. Everyone is raising money. Everyone is. They're going crazy. Old people. What the hell's happened to old people these days? My God, they never stop raising money, do they? There was a time old people, they would retire and just keep quiet. Now, you go, I'm 88 years old, I'm going to walk from John O'Groats to Land's End. You go, what? We don't do that. What are you doing that for? At your age, if you can get down to the corner shop and come back with your trousers still on, everyone will be happy, I promise. If you can come back not in a police car like last time, that's fine. I'm going on a sponsored parachute jump. Don't do that. What are you doing that for? Be thrown out an aeroplane, strapped to some instructor, be photographed at 8,000 feet going... Because you know what? If you do that, you don't look like you're having a good time or rediscovering your youth. What you actually look like is one of those old teddy bears that's been strapped to the front of a rubbish truck, okay? You want to be remembered like that? Go ahead. I have no intention of doing that. When I retire... I'm going to be a right bastard. I am. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want visiting me to be a chore, not a pleasure. I want people to come around. I'm going to make sure my house smells funny. I am. I'm going to find out how they do that, and I'm going to do it as well. I am. This is going to be my turn, right? People have to come over, pretend they haven't noticed. Yeah. Oh, should we open the window? Nah, leave it. I like it like this. Keep the warm in. You know ones I really admire? These are my favorite people. These are old people who tell you to go away without even finding out who's at the door. Those ones that go, back off! Isn't it great, isn't it? It's just perfect. You're right in there, a bit worried. I was, oh, do you come round? Why don't I go on? Fuck off. we bought you a fruitcake. Ah, fuck off with your fruitcake. I choked on me last time, didn't I? Go on. We got you a bottle of sherry. Anyway, Thursday. I just want to say I did a thing on Thursday that I'm truly ashamed of and I feel very bad about, and I want to be able to assuage that in some way by sharing it with you. The backstory is on Thursday I went to the supermarket for a shop up. I was at home, and I don't mind doing that. I'm happy to do that. But recently I've developed a tendency whereby once I've got the trolley full of stuff, I start putting things back on the shelves before I even get to the till, right? And I don't know why. It's just you just change your mind about things. You know, why did I pick that up? I don't want that anymore. I don't want. Now, this is the thing. Do you take the item back whence it came, or do you just ditch it? Right? Here's a pack of frozen prawns or something. I don't know why I picked them out. I don't want them. Change my mind, don't want them. Am I going to take them all the way back to the frozen counter, or just have a little look around and then... The way I look at it, I'll be home and dry by the time that kicks off. I'll be, I'll be digging up the floor with a drill going, what the hell's that smell? I know, I can't take it back. These places get bigger every time you visit them. Every time you go, they've knocked down another wall, added another 2 acres of shop. They sell everything under the sun. If you need to go to the toilet, it's quicker to drive home and come back, frankly. You can't... it's hard enough to find the stuff the first time, but find where you got it from and go back, it's just a nightmare. Not that the staff are not helpful, I have to say. I mean, now, this is something that I feel has changed over the last few years, that I certainly remember a time when staff were not so helpful in supermarkets. And you say, oh, can you tell me where the cornflakes are? They go, what? Oh, they're over there by the cornflakes. No help at all. But now they've all got incentive schemes and partnership schemes and management skill, all this, people skill, everything. Have been trained up. Now, yes, I know. I was who? What? Hopefully that will have answered that for her. Damn. You sounded like some fox wanting to be fucked. Aren't they bastards? That's what you sounded like. Don't talk like that. Have some dignity. Unbelievable. Hammersmith, Jesus. Go home to your donkey. They used to say, oh, over there by the cornflakes. No help at all. Now, like I said, they've been retrained and they got all this kind of skills. Now you say, excuse me, can you tell me where the cornflakes are? They have to stop whatever they're doing, and they go, I will show you. Is there anything else I can help you with? And it is tempting to see how much you can string that one out, to see how well they know the shop. I need marmalade. I will show you. The first time that happened, I had no idea what to do. Do I go with him, or is he going to come back with the thing I want? I don't know. I ended up walking around the shop with him for 20 minutes. It's like I was out shopping with my new best friend, this guy in a nylon coat I'd never met. Anyway, on the Thursday, the thing that I did that I feel very bad about, and this is terrible, a terrible thing I did. Basically, and don't judge me on this, the ditching got to a dangerous level. It got out of hand. I put a loaf of bread in the wheat-free section. And I've been feeling terrible about that ever since. I've been thinking, my God, what an appalling thing. I've been thinking, even now as I speak, there could be someone out there munching away on this stuff. Oh, it tastes like regular bread, doesn't it? Amazing what they're doing for us now, isn't it?
Can't breathe. Get the syringe for me. It's my coat pocket, mate.
And I've been racked with guilt, and I've been thinking, why did I do a thing like that? What a ridiculous thing to do, what a dangerous, irresponsible thing to do. And I've come to the conclusion, I think I've analysed it, and I think I got close to what the problem is. There's a new thing in shops now, in supermarkets. They're starting to put slightly jolly labels on items to make shopping more fun. Slightly fun. What I would call chatty labels. You know, a touch of paprika. Oh, easy on the chili. You know what? Easy back on the shelf as far as I'm concerned, because after you've looked at this 3 or 4 times, you don't want it in your trolley anymore. It's got on your tits. Oh, I want that anymore. I can't look at that anymore. I picked up a jar of mayonnaise, and it said, keep me in the fridge. I thought, you know what, pal? I will keep you exactly where I want. Right? Because you are a jar of mayonnaise. And if I buy you, understand this, you go exactly where I say. I might take you home, unscrew your lid, leave you in the sunshine for 4 hours, put your lid back on, and give you to a raffle. Right? You are a jar of mayonnaise, and you don't get to tell me to do anything. And it's on everything now. I picked up a grapefruit. There's a big sticker on it. Saying, I'm one of your 5 a day. I thought, well, you don't look like a vodka and tonic. What am I 5 a day? What are you talking about? My point is, I'm the consumer here. I'm empowered. I have a choice here. You're not one of my 5 a day if I just drop you like that, are you? And kick you under the shelves. You know, go make friends with some prawns. And it's creeping into every aspect of our lives. It's what I would call over-familiarity. We don't need it in our lives. We don't. I promise you. I went to a Starbucks, hadn't been in there for ages, and I ordered a coffee. And the guy said, what's your name? I said, why do you need my name? He said, we'll call you when it's ready. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, next time you're in Starbucks, do what I did. Right? Tell him your name is Cuppo Shite. It's me. I'll be at the back of the store. You call for me when Starbucks, cup of shite. We need to stop this from happening, and you need to nip it in the bud. I was at home a few weeks ago, and this guy rings up out of the middle of nowhere. It was like 7 in the evening. This guy rings up. And he said, is that Mr. Jack D? I said, yes, it is. And he said, my name is Robert Greenfield. Good evening. I'm from the Golden Insurance Company. I've noticed from our records that your premium is up for renewal. And he says, would it be okay if I call you Jack? Whatever, yeah. So thanks ever so much. Do call me Bob, right? And he starts banging on about car insurance. Right? I'm not interested anyway. I don't have car insurance because I'm a careful driver, so I don't need it. And then I started thinking, while he's talking, I started thinking about what he had said. And so I said, can I just stop you there for a second, Bob? I was just thinking about what you said at the beginning of the phone call about you calling me Jack and me calling you Bob. I think it'd probably make a lot more sense, surely, if we're going to be on friendly terms, wouldn't it? If you would use my nickname. I said, absolutely, Jack. Oh, sorry, yes, please, what may I call you? And I said, well, all my friends call me Bollock Face. That's what I answered to, is Bollock Face. And I've had it all my life. Started my first day at primary school. The teacher started calling me Bollock Face. And that's what I answered to. Now, I could tell that he was kind of uncomfortable with this. Because he started saying, well, anyway, I think we can get your premium down a bit this year, Bollock Face. And I said, sorry, Bob, I didn't quite catch that. Can you speak up a bit for me? Thank you very much. I think I got him to say it out loud, I think 3 times before I heard him being dragged away from his desk by supervisors.
You told me to say that.
I don't feel good about it. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel good about it. It was a bad thing to do, and I'll probably go to hell for that. I imagine I'll go to hell. You know what? I know what hell is as well. Do you know what hell is? Hell, I've decided, it's not fire and all that stuff. Hell is when you're one of those fish in a pedicure tank. That's it. It's as simple as that. For eternity, day after day, it never stops. Just cleaning people's feet with your mouth. Yeah. Sorry, it was a corn plaster. just forever, for eternity, just gnawing away at John McCririck's verrucas. Friday, I actually don't have time to go into detail in what happened on Friday. It's still an ongoing issue well, I can briefly outline what it is. I just start by saying I'm sure you'll agree with me, and my view is that when post comes through your letterbox, that means it's yours, yeah, regardless of whose name and address is on it. Exactly. So we're all singing off the same hymn sheet with this one. And Friday, my neighbour comes around and says, has the post been delivered yet, Jack? And I said, yeah, has. It was about 9 o'clock it came. And he said, was there a package delivered? And I said, yeah, there was. Yeah. In fairness, yeah, there was. And he says, did it have my name on it? My name and address on it? I said, yeah, it did, yeah. He says, well, please, may I have it? I said, well, not really, you see, because it came through my letterbox, so that makes it mine, doesn't it? Best forget about it. And he went nuts. He just went crazy. I mean, he was shouting and screaming. He was very undignified. He was shouting and yelling at me on my doorstep. He was kind of like foaming at the mouth. He was going, "You don't even need insulin." It was, oh God, it went on, and he was just jabbering on, making no sense. He goes, "Have you seen my wind chimes?" No, I haven't. Thank you very much for coming out. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Thank you. This is an encore, by the way. A lot of comedians, you see them, they'll go behind the curtain and see how long you clap before they come back on, and I just think, why take that risk? I'm not gonna. And it's well, anyway, thank you for that. And what you don't know about me is that I am very, very keen on 15th century folk music. And what we have here is what I call a lock-in. So yeah, this is it's my guitar, and I got it on eBay. Yeah. You know when you buy stuff on eBay, you have to go on the photos, don't you? Really, and. Yeah, I couldn't send it back. What are you going to say? Reason for returning item, gutted. So I thought I'd finish with a song tonight. Be a nice thing to do. One of the things I haven't talked about so much now is my dog. I have a dog. Love my dog very much. And I got to thinking, wouldn't it be nice? It'd be nice if I could have a conversation with my dog, and we could talk to them, and he could say things to me, and I could say things to him. And I started thinking, I wonder how that conversation would go. And then I thought to myself, you know what? That is a song. So that's what this is, and it goes like this. Ow, ow, ow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. This next one's about my cat. Yeah. Oh, look, thank you for being cool about this, by the way, you know, me doing this, because it's great. Thank you. I know what it's like, you know, in an audience and then watching a comedian, then they produce a guitar. I always think, oh, no. But I am going to sing a song for you. In actual fact, you know, I found myself saying something there that I always get annoyed about when you know, when you go and see a singer-songwriter in concert, because that is what I am as well, really. So it's true. You know, think, yeah, I am. Think Neil Young. Think James Taylor. Think what you like. I'm still going to sing it. But they'll do an introduction to a song and they'll go, oh, where they wrote it and why they wrote it, who they wrote it about, what they were doing when they wrote it. And then finally they go, and it goes like this. And I always think, well, of course it does. Of course it does. Otherwise, it would be another song, wouldn't it? So I'm going to, I got this song for you I'm going to finish with. And a few years ago, I wrote a book called Thanks for Nothing. And it was, in the book, I wrote, it's still available, by the way, if you presume you have a Sue Ryder shop here in Hammersmith. I haven't. In the book, I wrote a lot about all the jobs I used to do before I did this for a living, and it was a huge response to this, and both of them wanted to know, is that true, you know, about the jobs. So I thought, well, that's what I will do. I will now write a song about those. So that's what I'm going to finish on this song tonight, and I want to thank you once again for coming out. You've been a great audience, and I really appreciate it. It's been a privilege. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. What's funny about that? Nothing. I was a DJ in my hometown till one night the club burnt down. They said I did it for the insurance, but I just got sick of watching people dance. Yeah, left that place as I found it, it was my hometown. Apart from the club I mentioned, that was burnt to the ground. Ow! I had a job in a restaurant. Sounds like fun, but it really wasn't. Bringing people the food and drink. Why can't you stay at home is what I think. And I would stay behind, clearing up, thinking one day I would own my own pub, but I never did. I had a job on a building site. I ate sandwiches and I talked shite. When women go by, you're meant to shout, come along, love, get them out. And my mate Chris drove a white van without a number plate, and he ended up in front of the magistrate. He got 6 points and a £120 fine. I would have put that in the song, but I couldn't make it rhyme, so. So Chris got a job in a pharmacy, and one day said, try one of these. Didn't feel any different at first, and then it felt like my brain had burst. Thank you very much. Only 19 more jobs to go now. So what's the moral of my song? When things go bad, just move on. Be polite and tolerant, and always wear deodorant. 'Cause life is not easy. You have to enjoy small victories. Like I bought myself a bag for life. It fell apart and I'm still alive. Thank you so much, Ed.